Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to try my hand at some braids that were inspired by American God's Technical Boy, but I'm also going to show you a secondary style that kind of happened by accident while I was rehearsing for my original look. I started by making all of my sections off screen. The first divide was a headband parting that extended from ear to ear. I clipped the back up and out of the way, and then using my eyebrows as a guide, I carved out a center panel in the middle. For now, I'm clipping that up too. The actor has a total of 4 small horizontal mini braids on either side of his head, making it 8 in total. I'm using a Dutch braid pattern, which means I'm folding the strands under one another, and instead of adding to either side of the braid, I'm only using the middle. This just makes it a little easier to build the braid in the first place, and that's because it can be somewhat difficult to pick up such small sections for both sides. I also find that by utilizing the middle strand, the braid naturally ends up on a straighter line across the head. One of the other things I like to do is rotate back and forth on both sides as I work, meaning I'll make one on the right and then do the corresponding braid on the left, and so on and so on. This is just another way in which I maintain even partings. It took me about 15 minutes to build the sides, but when I was finally finished I began to work on the center panel. I'll be using a 3/4 of an inch wand here, so I'm prepping with some heat protect and a good brush through. The lines here are also a little unusual, and you don't have to follow me here exactly, but I'm taking all of my sections on a diagonal. I'm holding the iron over the hair and wrapping it under and then over, and I'm using a pin curl clip to set it. I'll be using all of this hair later to make that over-the-top eccentric victory roll, and I thought that this wave pattern might elicit just the right amount of bend and volume. We've only seen the front of the character thus far, so I was unsure of how everything tied together at the back of his head. Obviously, as a guy with shorter hair than I, it probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. I have a lot more length to manage, so I decided just to wing it. I settled on my bubble wand and ran it through the rest of my loose hair. I wanted something that would give me a more natural curl, something that would look a little bit more piecey and undone. And once I was ready, I pulled everything over to one shoulder and began to ponytail it. I think I looped the elastic around 3 times, and on that last go, I didn't pull the hair all the way through. Rather, I left the fold in place. This will be the foundation of my messy knot. Next, I just used my fingers to make a small opening above the elastic, at which point I lifted the bun up and then through. For now, I'm going to have a break from the back so that I can make the roll on the top of my head. After pulling out the set, I used a boar bristle brush to gently take down and blend the curls. As you can probably see, everything is brought to the right side, wrapped over 2 fingers, and then that tube shape is directed towards the left. The best way to secure it is to pin at both the front and the back, and you'll need to use hair from either end of the roll and the scalp to hold it, along with a ton of hairspray. Once that initial shape is secured, I just followed the pattern with the rest of the strand, which actually isn't hard to do since the hair has already been pre-bent into a circular shape from the iron. I'm almost there now too. All that's left are the braids, and I've chosen to pull all 8 through the same opening above the bun. Since I have quite a lot of length left over on them, I've chosen to wrap the tails around the elastic, but I'm also pulling at the bun and pinning sections of it a little bit higher up on the nape. With that final section, I was finished with this inspired look. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. I wasn't sure exactly how to approach this when I first began, but I think it turned out alright, sort of half Viking and half pinup. The second version is way more subtle, and it came about when I was taking my hair down after my first try with the style that I've just shown you. I really liked the bends that were left over from the curls in my project, so I decided to play around and see what else could come of them. I started by smoothing down the hair in the front center panel, and after directing it to my right side, I just twisted and pinned it right on top of the braids. Again, this was just me playing around, but I really liked the peekaboo effect that it created. After that, I just swept everything into a normal ponytail over the shoulder. Definitely not as complicated, but I thought the contrast between the braids and the pony was kind of fun. What do you think? Do you like either of these styles? Are you watching American Gods? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have fun and keep braiding. Bye!